Welcome, welcome, welcome to this special edition of Hall of Fame College Football with Jason and the coach. I'm your host, Jason Watkins. He's the coach, Philip Roybal. And please welcome in my special guests, Drew England and Preston Preston Gant from the PG show. I just call him PJ shit. Welcome in, everybody. And hey, crazy things are happening today, as everybody can see and hear. Nick Saban announces his retirement as head coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide. I'm going to go right to you, Coach. Were you shocked?
Not really. I know that he bought the big mansion just recently. I think that was kind of a clue for all of us that, I wasn't sure it was going to happen this year. I really thought it was probably a year away. I thought he was going to take one more shot at it. But, hell, he's earned everything he's done, and so I'm proud for him. I think we're losing the best. I think we're losing the best college football coach in the country.
In history, too, in my opinion. But, guys, go around real quick. PG, Drew, you guys chime in. What were your initial thoughts with this news? I mean, we keep saying as soon as Miss Terry decided it was time for him to come home, he was coming home. But I don't think anybody really thought it was going to be today.
It's about time this scrub retires.
Oh, okay. That's your first thought. Drew, continue.
Yeah, I don't know if I would categorize him as quite a scrub, but no, I go with the other coach, because we got two coaches in here, obviously. Our Hall of Fame coach said it best earlier when he said, I think he's the greatest college football coach of all time, in my opinion. But, good for him. He's 72 years old. He's still got some hobbies. He enjoys golf. He's going to, he's got a lot of family around, and I think it's time for him to, experience some retirement while he's still got some good years and consult and probably be an analyst, that type of stuff. But good for him. He's earned it. I think the college football is changing, and I think, for him, it's a good way to get out and I think enjoy, life after football. And I think, it'll probably be hard for him for the first couple of years, kind of like Bob Stoops when he retired, but I think he'll transition well and do some great things. But, man, he's well-earned, well-respected. I mean, you go win that many national championships and all that, you get to do what you want to do. And kudos to him for probably having one of the best coaching jobs he's had this year with what, he had to go through and stuff like that. And I think it was just time for him to say, hey, you know what, I've squeezed the juice as much as I can. And it's time for me to salute you guys and head on to retirement. So good for him, good for Nick Saban. And I know we'll talk about all the coaching candidates that could be, but for me, it's going to be hard to follow a legend. So, but good for Nick Saban.
Yeah, I got to tell
you. I think one of the things you pointed out was, the game has changed, guys. And Jason and I were talking about this after our show last night. The game has changed drastically in the last 6 months. Okay. Yeah. And continues to roll that way at a high rate of speed. And again, let's be honest. Nick Saban is probably not only the best coach in the country and maybe in history, but he also was doing a hell of a job of paying players before NIL and before all this stuff came on. So now, in my opinion, it's my humble opinion, but that has been leveled out, and he no longer had the advantage, and he wasn't willing to fight that battle anymore either.
Yeah, and I just think it was all, not only that, but just other factors that he considered, and I think he's considered it for a while now, and I think it's just those private conversations he has with his family and everything like that, and kind of a timeline and when they felt like it was the best time for him, and for whatever reason it was that tipped him over the point to retirement, but good for him, and it'll be interesting to see now what's next for Alabama. So
Yeah, really. Yeah. And just kind of reading from what they're saying here in the Athletic, obviously 17 seasons at Alabama, a 16-7 bowl record in Tuscaloosa, obviously went 12-2 this year and lost in overtime to the eventual national champions in the Rose Bowl. Obviously, Michigan, his yearly record, starting off at Toledo in 1990, he's had exactly no losing records. Never.
Yeah.
A couple of 6-6 seasons. He went 6-5-1 in his first year at Michigan State. 6-6 after that. He never really got it going until the last year at Michigan State, but then he goes 8-4 in his first year at LSU, 10-3 after that, 8-5, 13-1. Obviously, that being the year that they won the national championship. Nobody here wants to talk about that. But 6-6 was as bad as it got for Coach Saban in a.
That's pretty.
Well, and not only that,
impressive.
but if you really dig into his career and stuff like that, you guys may remember, Coach. You definitely remember the years he had with Belichick, with the Cleveland Browns, and the NFL stuff that he did. Yeah, with the Dolphins, whatever the case was. But man, he is everywhere he's gone. He's made an impression and an imprint on many players, and just the championship stuff. But his jobs as an assistant coach and the things that he did with the Cleveland Browns defense, all those years ago and stuff like that. I mean, it's kudos to a great career all around, and it's led to him being 72 and arguably the greatest coach in college football history. So good for him.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's had a great run.
Guys, he coached 4 Heisman Trophy winners. He had Mark Ingram, he had Derrick Henry, Devonta Smith, and Bryce Young.
They've never done it at Alabama before, right?
No. Yeah. And the other thing to go with that is he's had 44 first-round NFL draft picks. And guys, before he got there, they hadn't had shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Welcome into the show, our boy from Talking College Football with JJ Kitchen, Mr. JJ Kitchen. Welcome into the show, my man. Hey, you're muted. You're muted, bro. Or we got something up with your. You're not showing muted on the screen, but check your settings real quick. Keep on PG. I know that and all you were going to say was just calling him a scrub. What do you got? What do you got for us? Give us something.
I mean, I still ask the question, is this as great of a job as I think a lot of people are going to make it out to be? Because following up in the shoes of Nick Saban, that's not going to be an easy feat. And I mean, even if you hit a home run higher, I think the expectations from Alabama fans, boosters, I'm not sure if the university will have the same expectations, but I mean, to go win national championships and have the same kind of success that Nick Saban had, that's going to be hard to follow. I'm really interested to see the effects that this is going to have on college football. One, whose names are going to be thrown around. Two, who leaves the Alabama program, player-wise and coaching-wise? Because now remember this. Now that Nick Saban has left, players have a 30-day window to exit into the portal. And if a commit wants out of their NOI, Alabama has to grant them that request. So it's about to be open season.
There's going to be a ton of ripple effect off of this in every direction, and so that's going to be the most intriguing thing is, what all dominoes are going to drop because of Nick Saban and his retirement, whether it's hiring a coach, like you said, players leaving, other programs it's going to affect as well. I'm sure a bunch of my dad called me right before we got on here, and he said, I bet you all the SEC coaches that have been getting their face kicked in by Alabama is jumping for joy right now, stuff like that. And so it's one of those things where it's like PG said, it's a good point. It's going to create a ripple effect all around and not only at Alabama, but other programs around the country. So,
and I'll say this, fan, you're really excited because you needed help on your offensive line and defensive line, and Alabama took 2 defensive linemen from you last year that have not really had a ton of production this year. Edric Hill and Jordan Renaud. Those are the 2 names out of Alabama's program. If you're an Oklahoma fan, I'm watching player-wise.
Yeah. And I'm going to – I want to speak to the fact of that maybe it's not that good a job. And I'm going to tell you, number one, coaches, if you hadn't noticed, have big egos, okay? So we all think we're the next Nick Saban, okay? Number two, if you don't have the gumption, let's even go a little further. If you don't have the balls to step up, to take a job like that, to see what you can do,
then you don't belong in it, right? Yeah,
then you don't need to be in it.
Anyway.
So I don't believe in that statement that it's maybe not as good a job. Now, you may get there and not do as good a job, and they fire your ass, because we all know how that works. Yeah. But at the end of the day, there's going to be people that want that job. Yeah.
Tough act to follow for sure. JJ, can we hear you now?
I think you should be able to now. I think it's working.
We got
JJ.
you, my man.
What's going on, brother? What's going on, Coach?
Give us your thoughts on this, man. Glad to have you on the show again. Happy New Year.
I know, man.
And
Happy New Year.
It seems like a national holiday right now.
Oh my God, man! I literally just walked in from work. I can't believe it. And then just on the way home, I got the tweet about the greatest college football coach of all time retiring. And I'll tell you what, right now it's Alabama's job at this point is to be on the phone with Dan Lanning and getting a contract written up, getting it going, because that should be their guy moving forward. A young guy who's got, won the attitude, the swagger. But he's really the next disciple to take over there, and he's got the balls and the stones to do it. And Coach, I agree. There's going to be people that look at this job and they say, you know what? Do you want to be the next guy that follows Saban? There's only some guys that are like that are built like that said, really it's a challenge, but it's a challenge that I want. And a guy like Dan Lanning is going to be that guy. I think he makes that move here pretty quickly. And you look at the job overall, man, it's Alabama. You're going to have the resources, whether it's NIL, anything like that. You get those guys to stay put. Depending upon how fast this happens. Obviously, it's a 30-day window for these guys to get out into the portal. I'm excited to see what happens, but I think that a lot of these guys really hold still at this point. For some reason, there's a lot of just in the back of my mind. I think some of these players knew it. I think there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. Ty Simpson, quarterback at Alabama, wouldn't have stayed there if he would have known this was going to potentially happen. I think the players might have known what was going on. But I think, when you look at this job, it is the University of Alabama. This is the job. This is, I understand what Georgia's done and what Kirby's done down at Georgia. There's been nothing like it.
That's where they started, though, right?
Yeah, they just started. Nick Saban won 7 national titles, in Alabama. This is a job. This is the dream job. You are in the SEC, the Southeastern Conference. You're in Alabama. You're in Tuscaloosa. You got a hell of a fan base. You got the best facilities out there. This is a job that everyone's going to want, but I think it's going to be a select few that really go for this job. But if I'm them, man, I'm going after Dan Lanning. I want the next young guy who's there for 20-plus years. That's the guy you want.
Does it surprise anybody, though, that he didn't announce that this would be his last season and kind of, give it one more shot? Or do you think he's not bad at quarterback and he's worried about it?
Well, I just think with Nick Saban, I think that's exactly right, Coach. I think with Nick Saban, I think he didn't want the attention on him. I don't think it's never been about him. I think he's always tried to put his program and his players and his coaches ahead. Look at his coaching tree. I mean, he's allowed those guys to go and do some great things and everything like that. And I think he didn't want the focus on him. And I think it was one of those things. It was kind of like Bob Stoops in a way that he said, you know what, when the dust settles after this season, I look back and everything like that, I think it's time for me. And I think, as a coach and coach, you've been in the game a lot longer than I have, but as a coach, you have those feelings of, hey, this was a frustrating year. Hey, this was a good year, or adjustments or whatever the case is. And I think for him, it was just like, you know what, it's time. And I think he's continued to have these conversations with Miss Terry and his family and everything like that. And I think they finally got to a point where they're like, hey, now's the time to call it quits. And I think that's just what it was. I think it was just one of those feelings that, hey, I've done what I could. I've won 7 national championships, and it's time for me to let somebody else, take over and see what they can do. And I think he'll still be heavily involved, I think, with the administrative side and stuff like that. And, maybe helping to, bring the new guy in and stuff like that. I don't see him just, hey, peace out, see you later. I think it's one of those things where he's going to help nurture that thing and keep it going too. So
he's going to pick his successors. What's going to happen?
For
sure. To the show, everybody, Miss Jamie Pritchard. She's always, I've seen you on quite with the air raid guys, and do you have your own?
No, I don't. I'm not that
always entertaining on Twitter. I'll give you that. That's where I get my entertainment.
I'm not that important on my own.
Welcome to the show. We wanted to invite you in and get your thoughts on the retirement of Nick Saban. Is it bottoms up for you, or where are we
at? Yes, I am wine. I am celebrating. Cheers to. I mean, listen.
Cheers.
I have highly enjoyed Coach Saban, and what he's done for Alabama and the sport of college football as a whole has been tremendous, and nobody can take that away from him. But let's be honest, as an LSU fan, I'm happy that Bama will no longer be under Saban. I mean, I'm sure they'll get a great coach. I have no doubt, but let's be honest, it's not going to be us. It's not going to be Nick Saban. Oh, and I do just want to point out that Nick Saban will never be Nebraska. I'm just saying.
yeah, there you go. I'll drink to that.
And I'll tell you what, Jason, to your point, man, I'll tell you what, some of these coaches, we talk, and Coach, you talked about it with the egos and whatnot, but the greatest coaches don't need that goodbye tour, man. They don't need it.
Yeah.
I think Nick Saban's just a different cat, man. He'll be remembered. There'll never be another Nick Saban ever again. I don't think there'll ever be a coach like that ever again. As the game continues,
it just
to change.
got harder to win national championships. So I agree.
Yeah. So it's going to get harder, but there'll never be another Nick Saban again. But just the greatest coaches don't need a farewell tour or the limelight on them. I think the best thing that Nick Saban did was at the end of when he was in the tunnel. They asked, describe this year, and he goes, "This is probably one of the greatest teams that I ever coached because of the adversity they went through. At halftime, 6-6 against USF in Week 4 to a team that makes the college football playoff and goes to overtime against Michigan. It's a hell of a story, and it's a hell of a year for him to go out on."
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I said earlier. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Drew.
I was just going to say, I said earlier, I think this is one of his best coaching jobs this year with what he had to deal with, and the Bama being the uncharacteristic Bama, and then just having to go through the things that he did. And I think this year he decided, hey, I've kind of squeezed the juice out of this, and it's time for me to bow out. And I think for us now that are in the SEC, I think it's a good thing for Kirby. He probably really doesn't care either way, but the rest of us is probably like, yeah, let's this is awesome. So.
Listen, with us coming with Oklahoma coming into the SEC next year, it doesn't bother me. Doesn't bother me at all. I took a sip, as you saw. So good times.
Well, going back to what JJ was talking about with bring on Dan Lanning, and I truly believe I think he's definitely one of them, and I know we're going to talk about it a little bit later on. But the point I wanted to make is I think and I believe that it's going to be somebody with Alabama roots. I don't think they're going to bring in somebody that doesn't.
Well, Dan Lanning got his start there. That's where he started.
That's what I'm saying. Lanning did. Lane Kiffin is the other one, and we can say no to him, but I'm not saying no to Dabo Swinney.
Okay. Well, I mean, even the fresh start might be good for him.
Let's put some names out there.
Let's be honest. Dabo is not a culture fit at Alabama.
That's what I said earlier.
That out there.
You never know.
I don't think that's a good. I think Bama fans will riot in the street if that's who they go after. It just doesn't fit. I think in my opinion.
What I'm saying is. But looking out of that tree,
right?
The Saban's coaching tree, I think those are 3 guys that stand out above anybody. And I tell you what, I'll be honest with you. In my opinion, I think it's time for Dabo to follow him out the door too. That's my own personal opinion, because I think, again, the landscape of college football has changed so much, and it's moving so fast in a different direction than we're all used to.
We just talked about that last night, Coach. That's what we were saying last night, is that we have seen the last of college football as we know it. I mean, it's not ever. We've been saying for weeks, what is one of the things that I've said so many times is the toothpaste is not going back in the tube. In fact, it's continuing to get messier. I don't know, man. I feel like this is. I think when you and I think that's the reason I don't think that Dabo Swinney is really a good candidate at this point. 5 years ago, absolutely. Today, with NIL and him dragging his feet on it, he literally went through the motions when they needed really bad. They needed defensive line help and offensive line help, and he half-assed it.
Yeah, and he won't utilize the transfer portal. He won't do it, and that's you have to do it nowadays. You have to.
That was my one.
Really tried to get their to get a collective going really yet.
Well, and that was my one, and me and Jason have talked about this as well as Oklahoma fans, but that was my one concern about Brent Venables is, will he embrace the new? And he did. And I'm like, man, that's awesome, because, he took a little bit of both worlds and was like, yeah, we have to do this. We have to jump on. We have to start using this, like it or not. It's the world we live in college football. And, it's just one of those things where, it'll be interesting to see. But I'm with Coach and I'm with JJ. My first call is Dan Lanning, and I'm gonna write a check to him and say, tell me what amount we need to get you to Tuscaloosa.
And
I agree.
And you got Dan Lanning up there, and again, I agree with you guys. I think Dabo, he's a guy that's got to stay at Clemson, and he's going to go out the door because he just doesn't embrace NIL. The next guy that goes to Alabama is going to be a guy that embraces everything. And to be honest with you, number one, I got Dan Lanning. Okay, that's the easy choice for me. I think he's a different cat. He's a guy that he pushes. I mean, in the way they practice, the way you practice will tell you how much your team, what they're going to look like on game day. They practice
1,000%.
extremely hard. Two other guys,
and he got that from Saban.
No! And then sooner or
Saban,
later, I knew it was about to happen.
It's coming up too, but I did like the last thing that I just saw there.
Oh my gosh!
How about Jimbo? Jimbo's got free time.
Jimbo's got a lot of money too. He don't care.
Yeah, he didn't be coaching for a while. So you got Dan Lanning, but don't be shocked. And obviously that's your number one guy, but don't be shocked if a guy like Steve Sarkisian gets mentioned, or Kalen DeBoer at Washington.
Absolutely.
Those two guys, you're looking at good coaches who are able to develop players but can actually recruit. Those are two extra guys you still have out there. But Saban, when you look at the actual assistants who have actually done a good job, Kirby Smart, obviously number one, the way he practices, that guy gets it. Dan Lanning, a guy that gets it. Then you're going to have a guy like Steve Sarkisian up there. Obviously, he finally got over the tilt. I still think that he would be a little bit of a jump too much. Kalen DeBoer would be up there. But you're looking at those type of coaches, and even do they really stretch out and say, do they go the wild card? And in my opinion, the wild card would be Lane Kiffin. That would be your wild card to say, hey, bring him in, because he would embrace it. And obviously he continues to look at different jobs. That's a guy just.
You're exactly right, and JJ, and I see that too, and I agree. Lane Kiffin's Dan Lanning's number one. Kiffin's the wild card. I'm still not that sold on Sarkisian because he's done it one time.
But I think that Alabama is, for whatever reason.
Well, and they may be.
They like that guy for some reason, man. I don't know what it is, and I understand.
Hope, you know what? For all of us and all our teams, please take his ass. Please take his ass. Because we're going to be. Alabama's fixing to get throttled by all these other teams. And payback's a bitch.
Hey, Coach, let me ask you this, and let me just throw this name out there, and not necessarily a candidate, but somebody who's young and somebody who is, not maybe have the experience, but a lot like a Dan Lanning, who's done a pretty good job. What about your guy Marcus Freeman at Notre Dame?
His ass ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, but it's an intriguing. That's one of those
you would take
second.
that job, Coach? I was about.
I don't think he would.
think.
I don't think he would.
But that's one of those
Guys,
second-tier names that you could look out
No,
for
I
potentially.
and I agree
Yeah.
with you, but I'm telling you guys, he knows it, and we know it. A lot of people don't know it, but guys, he's on the cusp of turning that program back into the program it used to be.
Yeah,
and
I like
think-
Marcus Freeman a lot.
and I think it begins next year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jamie, what do you think? Who you got?
Well,
Who you got?
Lanning was definitely the first person that came to my mind. Lanning,
First one popped in
Kiffin.
my head.
I mean, I thought about Dabo, but I just don't see them going in that direction because of the landscape of college football right now.
I think.
So I agree with you. I think DeBoer is interesting. I'm not sure he 100% really kind of fits the stylistic things that Alabama is built for. It would be kind of a big shift versus a Lanning who has been there, done that. He knows the system. He has that same background, obviously, that Saban has, that defensive, like aggressive nature. And DeBoer is just not that guy. Maybe offensively, but not defensively. Like I think Bama will go with. Kiffin is another one. I just, I don't know about you just never know what you're gonna get with Lane Kiffin. So his name always comes up, but it never seems to go anywhere with anybody.
And one guy that maybe that, yeah. And the one guy that may be entertained,
Yeah.
I don't think if he's going to succeed, he would succeed there. I think he could step in and kind of continue things the way and like improve their offense immediately. But then he would probably kind of keep things together. I don't think that Lane's as crazy of an idea as it seems like he might be.
No.
I can tell you, I think that Lanning is probably the guy. I don't hate Mike Norvell as a thought. I think that he's, and I don't hate him as an idea there. I don't think that he stays at Florida State necessarily. I'll tell you somebody who I really think could end up there.
Jason,
Kyle
Jason.
Whitting.
Yeah.
I think Coach Whitt.
Kyle Whitting.
Coach Whitt is the most underrated coach in the country. I also think that a guy like
Whittingham is not leaving Utah.
Yeah.
He is not going to leave.
He's too old.
I'm surprised if he did because they're hating it that they're
Jason,
coming to the Big
Jason,
12.
If there's one guy that no one will probably think of, but he's in the Big Ten and he would leave because he's got that mentality and he won at Vanderbilt, and a guy that just will break, he'll be able to tie rolls and push things to limits. James Franklin.
Whoa!
Watch.
Talk about a guy.
I agree with that.
But okay.
I think Penn State fans. I think Penn State fans would celebrate.
They probably would.
They might.
Him and his 6 and probably his 6 and
they would.
his 6 and 29.
They would, actually.
Penn State fans and Ohio State fans, if Ryan Day left, would both celebrate. I think.
Yeah.
So.
And
Which is
and think
stupid
about
about
another
Ryan
guy.
Day. That's just stupid.
Well, I think he's over his head.
Dave, why are you not in here, man? Why
Ohio
are you
State.
not in here?
Hey,
Dave,
and the other thing, Jason, the other thing I wanted to mention, you mentioned Norvell. I think that he might have, and this kind of shit haunts you and follows you. I think he pissed down his leg when he pulled all this shit with Florida State and kind of leading the charge of.
You don't think that was more the freaking clowns that like run the school and the boosters and all that shit and him just doing what he needed to do there for them?
I think he's first off. I don't think he'd be. Yeah, he wouldn't be involved because one, he hasn't done enough, and I think that he's really had one good year. He had a 5-7 season, but a couple of years ago, he still needs more time to prove it. I think again we're going off on the wild cards, which we could potentially see, but the guy it's going to be is Dan Lanning. He wants that job so damn bad, and he doesn't care who was before him, who's after him. It doesn't matter. That guy, he's just built different. I think the same thing. I laugh about obviously James Franklin because they'll put his name out there somewhere because he's always got to put his name out there because his 6 and 29 record against the top 15 is always going to haunt him. Plus, he can't beat Ohio State and Michigan. But But you look at around the country, he's the only guy that really truly brings that SEC style, like the way that he recruits, the way that he practices, the way that he treats players. He just fits that mold. And I think the fact that what makes it really a really good fit for them is that he's a younger guy that is very motivated. I mean, he walked into a situation in Oregon where things were going good. Mario Cristobal rolled out. But when you look at them overall, they were kind of, stuck in a plateau almost. They couldn't get to that point where they were trying to build up, especially with recruiting. He took recruiting to another level up there, and especially too, Oregon, it's a great brand. No doubt about it. But it's in the, it's up in the eastern, in the western portion of the country. I mean, let's be honest. It's not Tuscaloosa where you're in the Southeastern Conference. Now they're going to the Big Ten. That kind of stuff changes. I don't know. I think for him, he's been wanting to go back to the SEC, and this is the job he wants.
Yeah. And JJ, to add to that, not only all the things you said, and the only thing I'll add to that is he did work in Tuscaloosa under Saban, but he also worked for Kirby Smart at Georgia for 3 years. So that even adds to the intrigue a little bit more.
And and trust me, on my way home today, I texted a really good friend of mine who's actually two friends of mine that are GAs down in Georgia. And I sent them, hey, I said, can you believe Nick Saban retired? And they're like, yeah, but I said, no, Dan Lanning will be there in short order. Give it a week. And I said, well, one, I figured that, but why do you think that? He goes, that guy, when you look at disciples, okay, like Coach, like you said, he worked for Saban, but there's a reason why he climbed as fast as he did. And look at the job he did with Kirby. And he talked about, for instance, if you talk to Kirby Smart or anybody in that building, the first thing that Dan Lanning always does, he thanks Kirby Smart and Nick Saban for what he did in his career, coaching him, pushing him. But when you're in a system like that, when you're in Georgia, the first thing they talk about is the guy's smart as hell, driven like you wouldn't believe. Yeah. It's a different type of guy. It's just a different type of motor that you need when you have a program like Alabama. You know what I mean? It's not like you're going to USC where it's all flash or Oregon where it's all flash.
Well, it is Lincoln Riley.
Down in Alabama, his motto, we're not here for clicks, we're here for wins. That's what we're here for. And that's right. Just he's going to do a good job at Alabama.
Here's the one thing I would say about Dan Lanning, though. He hasn't really won any of his big games yet either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The big games, he's been losing them. So I know that everybody thinks that he's a shoe-in and that he's that's a surefire winner. I don't hate what he's doing there. I think that he's pretty good. I don't know that he's.
I think
that's his first year. That's his first year.
I think he's the closest. He's 22-5 at Oregon, and like you said, hadn't won the big games. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, he's the closest. He's the closest thing. He's the closest thing to the person when they lay out that job description. I think he fits all the boxes. He checks all the boxes.
And Coach too, when they do the pros and cons of each of these guys, they'll bring up all these guys. They'll do the pros and cons, who they won, who they lost, overall record, strength of schedule, recruiting rankings, how many guys can they bring in, what kind of staff can they build, what type of experience do they have, longevity, career-wise, depth, anything. I just Jason, I agree with you. He hasn't won those big games yet. Yeah, and I agree with you. He hasn't won those big games yet. I would just
put that out there because you got to say it. He hasn't I mean, I know that everybody expects him to be that dude. I do too. I mean, and I'll be honest with you. I was hoping that Oklahoma was going to hire him. I really did. That was my first thought. Was I wanted Dan Lanning. That being said, I'm really happy with BV. But speaking of BV, this is one guy that beat Alabama. His defenses beat Alabama twice for national championships. Do they float a big check out there at him? And I mean, they're recruiting their asses off. Do they?
Ain't going nowhere.
Brent BV would never take that job.
I'm not
BV
saying
would
that
never.
He would. I'm not saying.
Well, and to your point,
I see. He is Oklahoma. Like I don't.
Yeah. Well, he hasn't. To your point with Dan Lanning, he hasn't won the big. He hasn't won the big games
it'd be
either.
Different if Oklahoma was staying where they are, but they're going to the now. So that doesn't make sense in my opinion.
Also, he's a big guy with Bob
Because
Stoops.
Oklahoma
They're
still
like-
recruits at a very, very high level. So
yeah. Plus, he's a big Bob Stoops guy. He is. I'm telling you, he's going to be at Oklahoma for the next 10 plus years. It just hit the culture fits him. It's just so perfect for BV.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, who I think that the actual,
agreed.
Probably the number one, if it isn't Lanning, I think it's Sark. I think
I'm
they go
telling
after
you,
Sark.
for some reason, they
Sark
love
there.
that guy.
They love Sark there. I think that they make a big push for him.
But,
I would die.
Wouldn't Texas fans? Oh my gosh!
I
Twitter-
would die laughing.
Twitter would break.
Bama steals Sark.
Yeah, Twitter would
I
break,
think-
Jason.
You think Texas
I mean, they
would
almost
rip it off
melted
with
down
Goff
over
in the
LSU
SEC
to
before it
steal
ever
their
got there?
line coach. I mean, can you imagine the
Yeah.
meltdown?
Hey, what about your boy? I know you don't want to bring him up, but what about your
I
boy
have
Brian
no love
Kelly?
for
Would he go to Alabama?
No,
With
I'd
who?
say-
people
I'd
saying
say
that
no.
BK wasn't a cultural fit for LSU, they're
No.
absolutely right. Can you imagine him at Bama? No, that's not. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
BK's
hey,
ready for Ohio
I don't
State.
even know
Hey.
what his buyout is. But
Hank, you're
I'm
not
sure it's
wrong.
outrageous.
Phil Knight will back up the Brinks truck to try to get him to stay at Oregon.
That was something the other day.
He hasn't been able to do it yet, though. Everybody that comes and
I don't
tries
know.
to
Does
hire
Oregon have
away
that
from
kind of clout?
Oregon.
Bama does though.
No, they don't.
They don't.
No,
They don't.
All they have
And-
is money.
I mean,
All
they
they
have
have is
Nike
money, and
money.
now
and
they're in the
that.
Big
I
Ten.
get that, but
Now they're in the Big Ten, but I don't think that's. I mean, here's the thing: they're going to the Big Ten, not the
Yeah.
SEC.
Yeah.
And I think that Dan Lanning wants to go to the probably. I mean, he's going to sit there and say, "Yeah, I love the Big Ten. It's the other big boy conference, whatever." I think we know where he thinks he belongs. Probably.
Jason, you ask any of those coaches, any of the four coaches that are moving from the Pac-12 to the Big Ten. He fits, he doesn't fit the Big Ten. He's not he'll never be a Big Ten guy. On top of that, the travel, everything else that goes on, hell no. And I can tell you this right now. You look at those two jobs, and I don't care if they were still in the Pac-12 or they were still in the SEC, Alabama is a better job than Oregon. And I understand Oregon's got the campus, they've got the best of the best. But Alabama is a different beast. It's a different level of competitiveness, committed to excellence, and they've proven it. They've done it. They have the blueprint. Oregon does not have the blueprint long enough to say, hey, this is the job that you want to be at consistently. And now they're going to the Big Ten. The level of travel, I just truly don't believe people really think about it.
I think that is a freaking dumpster fire for those guys.
Well, especially like for Oregon or USC having to go play Rutgers, like that's insane.
Rutgers, Penn State,
That's
you're going to have
insane.
Columbus.
Yeah.
In the snow in November.
Maryland, all those. Hey, man,
East
we're
Lansing.
talking a full 3 time zones away and freeze their asses off. I don't think
That's
that it's as good. I think that Oregon probably does pretty well there because I think they're set up to do well. The kids love Oregon. They recruit well no matter who's there. They hadn't really gotten the coach that's kind of turned it around. Now, if you're listening to Dan Lanning and what he said, but he didn't know this damn job was coming up either. He has no desire to go anywhere ever. He's happy with this job. You got everything that you would need at an Oregon. I mean,
this shit changed a couple hours ago, though.
I agree. I think that the second that this came open, I think that
there should always be that disclaimer.
Yeah.
Well, I think his agents have already been on even before this announcement.
Oregon has not. They haven't held on to one coach. Think about it. They've all left for other jobs.
Also, too, I don't know if anybody's ever been to Oregon, by the way, and you're up in Eugene. I can tell you what, it's not exactly a destination.
Well, and look at. Here's the thing about what you just said, Jason.
It ain't that cool. Yeah.
Here's the thing about what you just said, Jason. The last 2 coaches at Oregon could be leaving for their for where they started.
Yeah,
because Cristobal went to Miami, and then if Lanning leaves, he goes to Alabama.
Yeah, it's called Eugene, but they also say it's got a nickname. It's called "You See Yourself Out of There" real quick when you get another chance. That's the other place it's called.
Phil Knight or not, man, and they've got probably the best. They've got the best facilities. They've got the best of everything that you could possibly have there. except for
But they don't have the SEC.
Oregon. It's
Yeah.
not that far from
And
crazy.
guess what? And I think Phil Knight also knew, if I don't get Oregon in the Big Ten, this place will never be the same. There's no way. You had to be in one of those two conferences just to survive, because when you go up there, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's, when you're on campus, it's nice, and you have the Nike headquarters up there, it's great. But outside of that, I mean, I remember Mario Cristobal's wife saying, look, we got to get the hell out of here. I mean, holy hell, man! I love how you love your job, but none of us love it here. I mean, holy shit! I mean, it's like doomsday up there. I mean, it's I only see clouds. I didn't know the sun was still up there. Eventually you gotta have something that's like enjoyable.
Yeah,
no doubt. I think this is a Marty Cloyd. Well, bye. I love it. That's nothing like a little tombstone.
Marty was unhappy.
Well, bye. Yeah. Yeah, listen, I think that they're gonna have to. I think, I'm telling you, I think it's Sark, man. I don't know if Lanning doesn't take this job, I think Sark leaves immediately. I don't think there's any choice around it, because I don't think he's in great shape right now as everybody thinks he is. They've got a great schedule next year. Great schedule.
Jason, Texas. I'm telling you right now, Texas
lost most of their freaking starting lineup.
Texas will have at least 6 or 7 losses next year. I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you, it's a different ball game. I'm telling you. Look,
not according to Texas fans. They got it. They got this. They got this.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now, when they find out when they were actually in the kitchen there and they start heating it up and the stove gets turned on, they're gonna realize there's no off button. It's gonna be hot there forever. So they better get used to it. And I can tell you this:
although JJ, they got the easiest damn schedule in the conference.
They do.
Yeah, but Sark will find a way to fuck it up.
Well, yeah, just like he did in his play calling late in the game.
Probably.
Yeah, he'll find a way. I'm telling you. When you look at it, they can do whatever they want. But I'm telling you, it takes a lot of work.
Fan.
I think that they have to make a move immediately, though, and because of this exactly. Everybody that's come in here, every Oklahoma fan who's hit this comment section has started off by who's going in the portal. And now here's Shoddy saying the same shit. We're about to feast on their roster. Yeah. Don't think for one second.
Yeah, they have to make it. They have to make this higher class. Because
I agree.
I agree. I think that you're probably about to lose your quarterback that you just signed.
And here's the thing, and JJ said it earlier, and just knowing people within programs and stuff like that. Now Alabama here's what probably happened this morning. There was a meeting between all the admin and Nick Saban and everything like that, ADs, everything like that. Here's what I'm going to do. They were probably already on the phone talking to people before the announcement broke, and so their ball is already rolling.
Oh yeah,
for hire.
They've known this was coming. So
yeah. It's not a secret
for all
to them.
We know it's already in place. I mean,
could be
something could already be in place for all of them.
It's like anybody else. It's like anybody else and the rest of us in the world. You're not resigning anywhere or until you have something else lined up. And in this case, there's no way Nick Saban just walked into their office and said, "Hey, I'm resigning. I'm retiring. Hope wish you guys the best." This has been in the works for a while, and the stuff's going on behind the scenes. And also, too, to tell other people, it's not like you're at one of these other schools. When you're a player at Alabama, you're not just going to hit the portal and go somewhere else. You're going to wait and see. You're already in a great position, especially if you're a starter there. You're still going to get paid. Don't worry about that. These guys, especially unless there's a guy that walks in that building and they say, "Hey, I don't like this guy. I don't want to be there." I don't really expect too much overhaul on that roster. And I think I really do believe that Nick Saban's already talked to that recruiting class that's come in that team that's there this morning and said, "Look, guys, we're going to get you a good football coach. I'm ready to move on." And I said this a while back. NIL was going to start retiring coaches because they're not willing to do this anymore. They're going to start pushing guys out. And I think that when he talked to his team this morning, he said, "Look, we'll get you a good football coach in here. We already got a guy lined up. Just wait and see. Nobody hit the portal. Everyone relax. Judge us on our
Well,
actions.
I think for like what JJ was saying, I think that's why you get a guy like Dan Lanning, because all those guys are going to want to play for a guy like that.
Yeah,
you know,
he's an animal.
and it's and he's probably gonna pull guys from Oregon.
Right.
Yeah. It's not like you're bringing in.
Oh
you know,
yeah, absolutely.
It's
Absolutely.
just
And I mean, the good
continuity
thing about
at
the
best.
transfer portal, when you have a coaching change, you don't have to enter right away. You can wait and see how the situation plays out and give yourself a little bit of time.
Right.
So it is good for those guys. If it's just a complete like, no, I'm not playing for this guy, then they can.
All right,
Then they still
everybody's
have
gonna
that
have
freedom.
to stop
But
celebrating. We
yeah,
got old
yeah,
Brenskie Sharpe
won't
coming
see
in
that.
from Sharpe Shooters. So no celebrations to Brenskie. He's gonna be all upset. Welcome to the show, Brenskie. What's up, Brenskie? Can you hear us?
He doesn't
you
even
hear
want
me?
to talk to us. He
Just,
said, "Shit,
Yeah,
this
I don't
sucks."
think he sees us. I'll wait till he
Oh,
looks like he's moving his
he's like,
thing.
no, I'm out.
You
There
good?
he
There we
is.
You
go.
hear us? Okay.
I can hear it now.
Be sharp. Kind of a surprising day. Surprising day for all of us. How you feeling right now? As if I don't know.
Hey, heartbroken, man. Heartbroken. Man. Yeah, as anybody else would feel. Hey, man, the greatest coach ever lived, man. It really shocked me. Even I was even in denial a little bit. Just like, hey, man, I've seen this before. And even though I have, they lied and said that he retired before, and like, no, I'm not retired. But it's looking like he's retired, man. And what a run. What a run.
Yeah.
I literally remember I was in high school when they hired him. And I was like, oh, there's some big things coming to Alabama, but I couldn't imagine no run like this. So
Now, who was
Listen, one of the first things that I read off of that the feed on the Athletic, in all his years of coaching, not one losing record. His worst record anywhere, 6-6.
crazy.
I mean,
And that's
you remind
perfect.
me this. Remind me of this, guys. Who was it? Francione that was there before him?
No, it was Shula. He took over for
Okay.
Little
Mike
Shula.
Shula.
at Bama.
Okay.
Mike Shula. Yep.
Okay.
Francione was right before him, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But
Yeah.
Shula wasn't there very long, right?
He was there for like 4 years.
Yeah.
Was he?
Like
Okay.
4 years. Mm-hmm.
And he worked with Francione though too.
I mean, that's
but
kind of like a
with Francione,
lifetime in
it was
today's
dumpster
college
fire.
football.
It is.
Yeah, he 17 years in one place is it's pretty wild, for him to go that long. Obviously 6 national championships, have the 7th one there at LSU as well. I mean, I don't think there's any doubt that he's the #1 coach of all time. And I don't know that anybody can, with it now going to a 12-team playoff and later a 16, which only makes it harder to win them, guaranteed. I don't really see anybody even kind of coming close to that. I mean, any of you guys? I don't see it.
I don't. There's nobody. I mean, when you look at some of these coaches now, they're not built the same. They're not.
No.
Right.
It's like the same thing when you look at just not even college, just professional sports, not even just coaching the players. There's different breeds, man. There'll never be another Michael Jordan. There'll never be another Kobe Bryant. There'll never be another Tom Brady. They're just
Tiger Woods.
different. Tiger Woods. Yeah, there's just no.
Yeah.
It's hard to find that different breed. It's just
Yeah.
guys that don't care. And it's funny, I was watching a bunch of stuff with Tom Brady, and it was the one thing he talked about all the time. He just, you have a lot of guys now that it's about, me and my rights, me and my privileges. Back then, it was guys that just focus on the team. What can we do as a team? Not about the stats. What can we do to win? I think a lot of coaches are different nowadays.
Yeah.
They don't grind like some of these guys do.
Yeah.
And in the coaching profession, it's just a different world, man. It's a 24/7, 360-day job. There's no days off. I just think it's going to be hard.
There's
There will
no
never
off
be.
days when you're
There will
coaching.
never be. Yeah,
Nope.
there will never
That's
be
why you
another
got a
Nick
lot of
Saban.
these guys in the NFL instead of college football too, because they have time off because you can't.
Yeah,
work
they
those
like their
football.
off season.
Yeah.
Hey, so Sharpe. So
Go
who
ahead.
you pulling for to bring in?
After I think an hour of just digesting all this because one of my friends called me and I was like, man, I don't know. I just know it's nobody on the staff right now.
Oh, come on, hire the OC.
No.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Tommy not ready for that role right now. He's not ready
Thanks
for
for
that
saying
role.
that before I took a drink of wine.
Oh
That was
no.
Tommy Reese, what?
He is definitely not ready for that role. But I would say it could be three names only come to mind is literally Dan Lanning, Prime, and
Sark.
and Lane Kiffin. It could be Sharpe too, but I don't know.
I think it's Sark over Lane.
Prime, really?
I could
You really
He can't even win at Colorado.
Oh, he's
not
going to
yet.
on
He
now.
can't. Not
Well,
yet.
to
He
be
has.
fair,
it,
He's
but-
not going to.
Colorado.
Well, we'll see. But they would.
That's
definitely
Colorado.
put more- They would
It's
definitely put
Alabama.
more around him at Alabama.
Yeah.
The people that think that he would just come in there and they would fix that problem, but
that would be a coaching shot.
he's
for
a-
lot
I
of
don't know.
folks.
I think that had he won 7 or 8 games this year, maybe he's more of a candidate right now. If it's next year, he comes in and does a good job in his first year in the Big 12 this year, maybe he's more of a candidate there.
Yeah.
I tend to doubt it. I think it's Lanning or it's Sark. I really do. The more I think about it, it's Lanning or it's Sark.
The only reason I say Prime not going nowhere. Yeah, if it was next year, then it would be like definitely. But this year, only because Travis Hunter can't transfer because he got to sit out a year.
He can. That's all over with. That transfer bullshit. They can't stop him now.
Yeah, West Virginia put that court filing through.
injunction.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
That injunction
Okay.
went through.
But I still
Well,
don't see it. I still
Yeah.
don't see it.
One guy's not going to help you win. We saw that this year.
Oh yeah. But when he come to Alabama, it's not just one guy.
Yeah, but I think Prime is just a flash in the pan, and that's about it.
Yeah, I'm not in agreement with that. But
If I were you, I would not want Coach Prime. I would want Lanning,
I don't think that
Kiffin,
he's
or
right for the
Sark.
job today. I don't think he's right for this job today. I just don't know that they would necessarily. I mean, I don't know that they would necessarily keep it from him.
But I think if
Saban
Lanning
likes him.
Lanning is they're gonna throw the book. I feel like they're gonna probably throw the book at Lanning.
Yeah, and they
They're
should.
gonna
We're all in agreement with that.
He's just a different. He's a different breed. He's
But
a different breed,
guys,
man.
with all that being said,
D'Amico Ryans. Ooh.
there's no guarantees that any of these guys are going to be able to come in and replicate.
Yeah,
you can't replicate
Well,
that.
their job is going to
Yeah, you
be
can't
like you
replicate
said,
them.
Coach. You got to be your own person. Like you can't try to duplicate what you have to go in and put your own touch and add to the legacy of Alabama football. You can't
That's
say,
right.
"Hey, I'm going to keep this up," because nobody can do that. Like JJ was saying earlier, there's rarefied air, and Nick Saban is in it. You know, when you're talking about the greatest athletes and coaches to do it, and that's just to ask somebody, "Hey, you got to come in here and win another 6 national championships," that's just unrealistic. And for a person or for a coach that comes in and takes that job, he's got to understand, hey, we are going to build upon what we did and continue the success in our own way.
But in doing that,
make it your own. Definitely,
yes.
you got to make it your own.
Absolutely, and in making it your own, though, you could take a few steps back before you move forward.
Well, and that's the thing is that when you talk about college football, you're talking about a handful of programs that have done that. You know, the blue bloods of college football, and the expectations for these schools is that it's national championship or bust. When you're talking about schools like Alabama, Ohio State, Oklahoma, all these schools that push for that, and that's just the standard that you live by, and you understand that when you take these jobs. A Notre Dame, something like that, is that your standard is up here, and you know that when you come through the door day one. You know,
right. But again, because the culture is going to change, and because when you're doing it your way, you like you said, you're not going to do it Nick's way anymore. Although that's why I said earlier, I think that there's no doubt that they're going to hire somebody that's already been at Alabama because they know how it works. They know the system. And again, there's been tutelage there.
It's a short list.
It's a seamless transfer. It's a seamless transfer of power. It's a short list. I don't think that I still believe that Kyle Whittingham would be a good fit there because he runs the same type of deal. I don't know that he would leave Utah necessarily. I think you're probably right on that, Jamie. But I mean, it is Alabama. It is.
He wouldn't be.
I like it. I thought about him for Nebraska years ago.
Yeah.
I thought about Whittingham for Nebraska years ago, and that didn't happen when he went. And now he's been at Utah forever. Yeah, I mean, I don't see.
What about this one? Hey, Shark bites in some of these.
I love Whittingham. I
love
I love his style.
We are definitely cool on Dabo. Dabo doesn't like to
big game Bob.
He stays in his ways.
No, I'm not. Hey guys, I'm not losing one of my golf partners, man. Come on now. Come on now. Bob loves the tequila and the golf, man. I'm not. No, don't mess with him.
But again, hey, think about
it. He loves coaching spring football,
bro.
Bob's not coming.
That's a tough job to turn down.
Exactly.
He's not. I promise you, 100%.
I think somebody said Mark Stoops, maybe.
Yeah.
Somebody
not
said
even
Mark,
Mike.
and Mike. They said Mike. Yeah. I hope
I'm telling you, it's Dan Lanning, Steve Sarkisian, Lane Kiffin, and then if you really want two wild cards in there that could potentially just shake things up because they could potentially move, is Kalen DeBoer or James Franklin. I'm telling you, there's just guys. You got to be.
We're definitely okay on James Franklin.
Yeah.
What about Midnight Mel?
Very
Midnight Mel. He's got a phone call later on tonight. He'll be calling you later on. You know what I mean? it's sticky.
Midnight Mel.
No.
I love
it.
Oh, that's good stuff.
That was it, man. This is just something that nobody expected. Like, I mean, literally nobody. And then what I read before I got up here, they said Kirby was on campus earlier, but I don't read too much in that because he probably was just paying his respects to Nick or whatnot.
Yeah, it's like Jamie said earlier. This is not news to anybody inside the. Yeah, and this is not news to anybody within the walls of Alabama and the administration. This talk has been going on for.
The man is like something.
Yeah, if we're sitting here today, I sit here today, and right now, I'm 95% sure it's Dan Lanning. I'm 95% sure.
For a couple
I would
years
love it. If it's Dan Lanning, I would love it.
Yeah.
I'm telling you,
I'm 99.9% sure.
He is not a Pac-12 guy. He's not a Big Ten guy. He's an SEC guy. He had to go somewhere to prove a little bit of his stripes, show he can run a program, show he can win. He did that. Let him go down to Alabama and do his job, and Nick will, and Nick wants him, because Nick's not leaving. He'll be around. He'll be like Roy Williams or any of those guys. They still come around every day.
He's going to pick the guy that gets this damn job.
Yeah. Just like Bob was at Oklahoma, just like Tom Osborne is at Nebraska. Like, they're not going to leave. Absolutely. Those guys will always be around. It wouldn't surprise me if Miss Terry had something to do with it, too. And she's like, all right, listen, we're done. I want my husband back.
David just said it. One domino is already dropped. So Ryan Williams is already decommitted. So that's one domino. So 5-star receiver is already decommitted. So
and that's the part that's going to be interesting because they got to move quickly, guys.
Yeah, that's got to be a quickly. Yeah.
Well, yeah, they only have until the 15th, right? Because you have to be in school if you're going to be part of the spring semester.
Right. Well, the guys that I think they get you have to be enrolled when the spring semester starts. So that's a key there. So
he's also also too. Ryan Williams he's a 2025. guy.
Yeah, wait, he's 2024.
Is he
24?
Really?
No, he's 24. Yeah.
He reclassified.
Oh, he reclassed. Okay.
Yeah, he's a top 10 recruit in the 24 class.
It wasn't like he was signed anyway. So I already expected Ryan when he was a
February guy anyway.
So A lot
Well,
can change. I'm about to say it's just
Sure.
a decommitment. It ain't.
But they do have to move quickly.
They do have to move quickly.
Absolutely. Yep.
So another thing, I just wanted to respond to Kim, what prompted Saban to leave. And I tell you what, when you're in the coaching business, I think it's already been mentioned before, and I think Coach Drew mentioned it too. Guys, when you're in the coaching business, there comes that point in your life when it's time to move on.
Yep.
And what has Nick Saban not accomplished that needed to be accomplished? I mean, he's done it all. I mean, he's won 7 national championships. He's put 44 NFL players, first round NFL players out there. He's coached 4 Heisman Trophy winners. He's coached in the NFL. So just to answer your question, Kim, you know what? 72 years old. Hell, most of us hope we can live to be 72. But that sucker has done it all. And I think Jamie said it well. You know what? It's time for family. It's time. And he's still, guys, he's going to be an analyst.
Yeah.
You watch. He's going to be an analyst. He's still going to make a lot of money, but he's not going to have all the grief and heartaches.
He's going to be playing golf with Tiger, man. Freaking fishing, man. What does he care?
And to finish it off, guys, he doesn't have to worry about the damn portal.
Exactly.
He doesn't have to worry about NIL because that is
on the show last night.
At the end of the day, that's what's putting him out of business, and that's what's going to put Dabo Swinney out of business.
And I'll tell you what, too. There's nothing. And I think if we really wanted to set up something and look at over time, Hall of Fame coaches, legendary coaches who mess up on the way out or do things down the road that just don't work, there's something that ought to be said that, you know what, I did it my way, as Frank Sinatra once said. You know what I mean? There's nothing like being able to say, you know what, I closed out on my terms. The players love me, the coaches love me, and the fans love me. And I get to go live in Tuscaloosa, a home that the fans built me, a house is paid for on the water. There's just something that says, you know what, I go out on my own terms. I've made my money. I leave in a good light. I think he's doing the right thing. He's a smart man. He knows what he's doing. He's doing the right thing. And I'm 95% sure it's going to be Dan Lanning, and I'm also 95% sure they're just finishing up paperwork at this point. I'd be shocked if there's any type of search.
And I hope,
trust
me, I hope you are right.
There's a search.
I'm going to go
for a couple of days. This isn't.
I want to believe everything you're saying, but I still got to be optimistic on it. That's just the only thing. But I pray to God that's what it is or whatnot. This is already set up. Oh God!
Come on, you don't like Frank? Come on, it's fine.
Frank,
blue eyes.
Oh, blue eyes.
He did it his way, baby. And you know what? To add to that, you know what? He's leaving on his own terms. And some guys, to add to what JJ said, some of us are too stupid to know when it's time to go.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And we stay longer than we need to stay. And that, like you said, that's not good. That's not good. So.
Oh my God, Auburn fan, of course, Auburn fans. Yeah.
What else?
Leave it to them.
This is what makes it absolutely the right thing to do. Come on.
Great.
If you're not doing this, what kind of Auburn fan are you?
Hey, hopefully we don't have any more tree poisonings either.
I didn't care about the tree poison at all.
Yeah.
I didn't feel bad.
Some fans just take it way, way, way too
they
far,
do.
man.
They do.
That's just.
But I didn't cry either.
Yeah.
I got trees in my backyard.
I got trees in my backyard.
Oh, not 150-year-old trees.
They probably older. No, I was just teasing, man. I don't particularly care about Auburn. It doesn't matter. I don't care about Toomer's Corner. I don't care nothing about them. I do love Bo Jackson. I do love Charles Barkley. I love certain things. I only root for the football team, man.
That's
all
that's just terrible, man. That's just terrible.
Terrible.
Let's and I guess we could share some of the top tweets or whatever that are out there. I'll get to it, but look, I think that it's easy to sit here and say I mean it feels like Dan Lanning is the right fit here. I almost feel like Sark may be their guy. I think Sark may be their guy.
If they choose Sark, if they choose Sark, that is the dumbest thing you could possibly do. If they choose
Saban
Sark,
Saban loves him.
Well,
this is crazy, you guys. So listen to this. So somebody just posted on a Husker Twitter that Greg Byrne will get to hire a football coach to replace a GOAT like his dad Bill Byrne did. So Bill Byrne was responsible for replacing Tom Osborne when Osborne retired.
Right. Yeah.
And
Isn't
then
that
they
crazy?
shit all over him after that. Wow.
I don't like that, dude.
Well,
they have the right coach to replace Coach Osborne. They fired him.
Hey,
after he won another.
And they also fired Frank
Well,
Solich.
well-
Frank Solich, he shouldn't have been fired either.
It was
You know,
Solich.
Oh, Bo Pelini shouldn't have been
no,
fired either.
that's who replaced Osborne. Solich
No.
replaced
Hey, guys.
Osborne.
Hey guys,
Solich replaced
yeah.
Osborne.
Bill Belichick.
And then they hired Callahan.
I've been under the weather lately,
Bill
and
Belichick.
I'm kind of having a sinking.
Did they fire? Did the Patriots fire it?
I think it's coming.
Jason. I'm gonna get off.
Okay.
Get well, Coach.
Thanks,
Coach, we
guys.
appreciate you coming
it.
on, man.
well, Coach.
Yeah, y'all are friggin' awesome. Y'all hang in there.
Appreciate
Hey,
you, Coach.
here's-
We'll talk to you
here's
soon.
Nice to
better.
meet you.
Here's some.
Hey,
Here's
I'm
some.
gonna say this just for you, brother. Roll Tide.
There we go. It's only right.
Screw
Don't
that.
make me feel even more sad.
It's against my religion. That's against my
Not
religion.
saying it. No, me neither.
My
my
mine
religion.
too, but I had to say it in respect.
Just for old Brenskie. We'll give
it's
old Brenskie some love, but not
it's
that
out
much.
of it's out of respect for Coach Saban. So God bless y'all. Y'all have a good night.
Yes,
Thanks,
sir.
Coach. Love you, man. Talk to you in a bit.
Love y'all.
All right.
Here's some interesting things that Pete Thamel just tweeted out. Buyouts for potential Alabama candidates. It really doesn't matter because Alabama has the money. Dan Lanning, $20 million. DeBoer, $12 million. Sweeney, 7.5. Franklin, 6, and Norvell, 4. So there's something.
Somebody
15,
said
I
that
think, too.
Sark
Sark
is
is only like
15.
15.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
What's
What's Lane's
Yeah.
buyout? Does anybody know what Kiffin's buyout is?
it's around. It's probably around Sark's. I'm sure something like that.
Probably around that. Yeah.
Well, he got
Yeah,
another
somewhere
deal.
around.
He did get another deal though. Whenever he
did. So
he
yeah,
didn't
but
take the Auburn job last year, so that
Yeah.
one could be. Not that it would matter. I don't think that it would matter if they decided they wanted Lane, but I don't think Lane's the guy. I don't think Lane's the guy.
I don't think so.
I think him and
I
Sark
think
are
he
like one.
flirted with Auburn too much to be
Yeah.
the guy.
Well, I think him and Sark are
If they
probably
can't
pretty
go
much one and the
28.
same.
Yeah. Then you go Sark or Kiffin.
Dan Lanning.
Yeah,
is
they're.
just
I
that-
think they're.
But
Sark is like Sark and Lane are like. I mean, almost identical in coaching styles, pretty much. It's you're gonna So I don't know what the fab is about Sarkisian and why Alabama loves him so much, but it is
They
what
do.
it is.
They do though. I think it's crazy that they do, but they do.
Yeah. I mean, he's a great offensive mind. Don't get me wrong, because I've gotten a lot of things from him as well. But it's just one of those things where, if you want a guy to lead your program, I think Dan Lanning's the guy. I mean,
it's just the perfect fit, man. Whatever it takes. If Dan say, I'll come.
I'll come. I need this amount of money. Okay.
I don't think
They're
Lanning
making
would
happen
change
in
with
something.
what he's got. Are you
Casting, are
kidding me?
you crazy?
I'm sorry,
Are
but
you
we're
crazy?
talking about Bama and Oregon. Like there's
Yeah.
like
Where
come
does
on.
Everybody
Where-
leaves
what
Oregon,
is-
bro. Everybody leaves Oregon. They all do.
Chrome? What does he have right now that's better than Alabama? I mean, Alabama can get Nike shoes too, bro. I mean,
They do get Nike shoes.
I
That's
know.
just
That's what I'm
like
saying.
They may not
Mizzou
have
trying to
flagged
It's just a
say they're
different
better
color.
than LSU as a program.
We just don't
I
get
mean,
the
come on.
colorways and all
You're
that.
so stupid.
Rings, though. I mean, I'll take a ring over a pair of shoes.
Trust me,
And plus,
Dan
I
Lanning
think
is a
it's
football
tough.
guy. He
I
would
think
love
it's-
that job.
Listen, I think
cannot
it's
believe some of the stuff I see.
Yeah.
Again, I mean, you look at the two jobs. Just
Yeah.
one. Dan Lanning is not a Big Ten guy. He's an SEC guy. On top of that, when you look at recruits and you're bringing guys on campus, I know the Phil Knight money's great, but at the same time, though, Alabama's a different world, man. You're in the SEC. You're in a regional conference. You're not flying from Eugene, Oregon, all the way over to Rutgers, over in New Jersey. You're not going to Happy Valley. You're not going to East Lansing. It's a different world, man. I just think that it's when you look at, especially when you're recruiting, it's a better place to be.
Casting just said a new conference and a high recruiting class. You can get both of those things at Alabama. You can get a better conference and a better recruiting class at Alabama.
And that's what we were talking about earlier, Casting, as we were saying, is I don't think that it's a great situation for any of these West Coast schools.
Yeah.
They went for the money only.
That's it.
the only reason
TV deals, all that stuff. Yeah.
It's a travel nightmare for the entirety of the freaking program. And now they get to go play in the freaking bitter ass cold in the middle of freaking November.
Well, and they're going to have to learn how to play some smash mouth football too.
That's not what they do out there.
And that's not what they do out there.
Change their
Well, and you saw it in the national championship game with Washington. You know, they can't week in and week out play in those elements.
Dan Lanning is an SEC guy first. That was what the next thing I was going to say. He was an SEC guy first. I think that I don't see.
He knows what the SEC is about.
Yeah,
like nothing down there is going to surprise him.
I'll give you that, but I also think that I don't think it.
That would be the only thing, Chad.
Yeah, you have the best program to deal with that conference, right? And you don't have that travel issue that I think is going to hurt the Pac schools. I really do.
That's tough, man. You're going to have to leave a couple days early for that West Coast to East Coast trip, because that's crazy. That is crazy. Oregon, going from Eugene, Oregon, like JJ just said.
Sark, I still think it's going to be Sark. I think that they're going to choose him over Dan Lanning.
How would you feel? Come on, how would you feel about Sark?
Makes me happy.
No, I'm talking to the Bama.
oh man, it'll be cool. I wouldn't mind. I'd rather have Sharpe than Lane.
I would want to see Sark because I want to see all the Texas fans go freaking berserk.
Oh yeah, it'll be.
I was just gonna say the only reason I would like it to be Sark is for that reason right there.
I would, dude. Twitter would
make my heart.
Hey, Elon Musk, you better get your guys ready because X or Twitter or whatever it is about to go crashing. You know, oh my gosh, that would be.
Oh, it's gonna be like, yeah, this is gonna be triggered on another level.
Texas meltdown, Chad, just like you just said, to a whole nother level.
They're already twitch.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, if they pick,
they're so mad right now. It's just great.
God.
I love it so much.
If they hire Steve Sarkisian over Dan Lanning, I'm giving that grade a C, maybe to like a D+. That's horrendous. That would be
that's if we can get Dan Lanning.
Yeah, Dan Lanning is your first call, and you exhaust every possible resource to get him to Tuscaloosa
immediately.
I'm not. That's where I'm saying I think that they probably go. I think they go after Sark first. I do.
Maybe they do love him some Sark.
So dumb. That would be so dumb if they went through Sark first. Oh my god.
I wouldn't be mad.
I'm just telling you, this is where I think they're headed. Saban.
I wouldn't be mad either way because I'm here for all the chaos.
Even after, you wish that was the case, there, homegrown Cowboy. Sark would jump ship immediately to take the Alabama job, guaranteed.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Immediately, he gone.
That's why I'm like, man, everybody that we're naming has literally been on that coaching staff, especially with Dan Lanning being on that legendary 2015 team with
that was golly.
That was Midnight
Mel.
Midnight Mel.
Yeah,
He was on Midnight Mill with Midnight Mill staff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So man, I'm just hoping if that him and Kirby go at it for some years.
Yep. I think Sark would have to sneak out of Austin, but he would be gone.
Oh yeah, he'd have to.
He would take that job in a heartbeat. Yeah.
He'd have to pull a Lincoln Riley.
Absolutely.
Get up at 4 a.m. Get up at 4 a.m. and get to the airport real quick, and
Yeah,
but don't leave. Hey, don't leave the smokers. Don't leave the smokers in the garage though, Sark. Okay.
Man, this is about Jason. I was just telling you last night, man. We usually record the podcast and we drop it on Wednesday. Thank God I did not record last night, and we are recording tonight.
Wow.
This is crazy, man. This is like endless content, right?
I just think that, and I think that you're going to start. You've got already lost a freaking 5-star plus wide receiver. They've got to get somebody in place yesterday.
I'm telling you, it's gonna be less than a week. What is today?
Wednesday. I'm glad you said that. That's exactly what I was.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you Sunday. I'm telling you Sunday. You'll be hearing Dan Lanning's going to Oklahoma. Going to Alabama.
Oh, I was like, whoa.
Oh no,
you get a new DC.
You're going to the wrong
place. Whoa, Dan Lanning, Oklahoma. Holy cow! We broke it first.
I know the Oklahoma guys will love
it.
Venables is going to Bama and Lanning's going to Oklahoma.
Hey, in other news, Oklahoma fans, Davis Bevel.
What?
Davis Bevel to South Carolina? Is that what you're saying?
South Carolina, yeah.
Great. He's a great young man, by the way. Great young
man.
Yeah, I got to meet his. I got to meet his parents and stuff at a spring practice last year. Great people.
Yeah, obviously he went to Pitt. He's a great young man.
Yep.
I'll tell you that.
Yep.
The odds right now.
This is why we were saying, casting, that I think that I believe that it's because of Saban loving him the way he does that he'll get the job. Sark, as far as
that's right now for the Nets Alabama football coach, 250 plus Dan Lanning, 400 Lane. I don't even know why James Franklin even on this list. They just need to stop this. I'm not even reading his. It's just worse.
The minute that job opened, James Franklin went to his office and said, "Call everybody. Tell them I'm going to Bama. I'm going whole damn tie." That's what he was.
Man, if you can't win at Penn State and you think you think that pressure, that's not no pressure up there. You think you're gonna come down here and just lose to Auburn, and you're gonna keep your job? Oh, okay.
Hey, ladies and gents, I got to roll. It was good being on with everybody.
Drew, we appreciate you coming in, my man. Appreciate you coming in.
Yeah, man.
Did you start your new? Okay, he's out. Never mind. I was going to tell everybody how to find him. He is at Coach Drew England, I believe. Let me make sure about that before I say that. Let me say where's he at?
I would be shocked if we don't hear Dan Lanning by Sunday. I'd be shocked.
Yeah.
I would seriously feel better.
I think it's either him or Sark. I think it's him or Sark. I don't think that there's.
I agree with you on that one, Jason. It's just I just would be shocked if the only way Sark goes there is if Dan Lanning says no, and there's no way in hell Dan Lanning says no.
I don't think that's true though. I really don't. That's where
I don't know why you think that's not true. Like
because Sark's been at Alabama since the last time that Lanning was there.
Dan's the better coach, though. Dan's the better coach.
I agree.
I know you agree.
I definitely agree with that. But I do know that Saban could have told Sark to jump off of a freaking bridge when he split to go be the Atlanta Falcons OC, and he still brought him back immediately after that shit that Petrino pulled.
Jason, block this person right now.
Who is it?
Alex Grinch.
Well, block him right now.
Oh, man. I let him bust our balls. I won't put it on the screen, but I'm not going to kick him.
Oh my God.
I'm not kicking him out.
I almost just tore up my Dr. Dre post. Right. It almost went down in here, man. Like delete that right now.
And the new head coach of the University of Alabama, Jim Harbaugh.
Oh my God. I would have lost.
Yeah, I don't see that because he's at his alma mater.
No. Jim Harbaugh.
Bad culture fit.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Jamie, who do you think it is? Do you think it ends up being Lanning or?
Yeah. I'm pretty confident that's who it is. I don't see a way where it doesn't. I don't see a way where it doesn't happen. I mean, I guess
appreciate that,
stranger
Mike.
things can always happen, but I just don't see it. I just don't see it.
Yeah.
And somebody
No,
on
I
here
don't
said
care what they
300
do.
million. I don't know what the hell they're thinking about because we're
Yeah,
not paying
oh,
$300 million for a football coach.
Yeah.
When Saban and Kirby make 10 mil a year, 11,
Yeah,
somewhere
Yeah, I
around
think
there.
that's what it was. But they were, who was it that they were, Harbaugh, his
10 years,
contract that he
125.
hasn't signed could be like 13 a
ain't
year.
nobody getting nothing higher than Nick Saban. I don't
Yeah.
care who they are.
Yeah, but they're not
They
giving
shouldn't,
anybody
but he was
they're
about
not
to.
giving anybody a 10+ year deal. And you'd have to give them almost what? I can't math, but
Because
to
they
get to
offered
300
they offered Jim 10 years, 125 million.
And he's gone.
but
He's
that's
not coming back.
Yeah, he's gone. He's going to Los Angeles.
They could have lost. He was still gone.
Yeah.
It's not even no question about it. Michigan, you
Harbaugh
might as well
was
go
never
ahead and wrap it
staying.
up.
I told somebody in another chat, I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if Michigan like puts out a post. We have self-imposed a ban on Jim Harbaugh for next season.
Yeah.
Effective for next season, even knowing damn well he's already signed with the Chargers to be their next head coach. Just because of all the news
Oddly enough,
that's
the
happened. in the
trending
past
coaches
while.
right now on Twitter, though, and oddly enough, I say this: Lincoln, Billy, and Bob Stoops. They're trending on
That would
Twitter
be
right
so
now.
stupid. Oh my God, that would be so
Lincoln,
dumb.
Billy, and Bob. Sounds like the Three Stooges, but I know it's not.
Hey,
but
watch out about the Bob Stoops. Talk about Stooges now. Come on.
Stoops, Stooges. No,
Fair
I
enough.
like Bob.
No,
I actually
but
like
you're
Bob
gonna get
Stoops.
it- you're
I've
gonna
never
get it.
had an issue with Bob Stoops ever.
I'm just messing with you anyway. What's up there, Mike? I was wondering where you were. What are you mad about? What was
I
the
wouldn't be
head coach
shocked
for-
if it was 10 years. If they did Lanning, I wouldn't be shocked if it was like 10 years, 130. Wouldn't
Yeah.
shock me.
Oh no, I think that's isn't he pretty close to that now though? I mean, I don't even think
He's
that's
damn
what
near
it's gonna-
close.
It's
He's at
not
like
about the
9.5,
money
10.
though. That's it. He's getting all the money he can get or needs or anything else right where he is. That's not why he's leaving.
Better
at all.
job. Better job at Alabama. Yeah.
It's a better
SEC.
freaking job. You got more of an opportunity to win.
And
They
I
are a
again, I
true blue
I truly believe it. And people don't want to agree with it from the majority of people. But I'm telling you, that travel, I'm telling you,
I think it's a
That's gotta
tough,
piss
tough
them
deal
off.
for them.
that's
in
gonna
the- in the
piss
Big
them
Ten.
off.
I agree. I think it was if they go back to this, I think that we've been talking about this the last couple of days, but I really think that, and I was going to get you guys' opinion on this anyway. This subdivision thing is starting to look more and more like it's a possibility. And I think that that's why, because I still think that the SEC, they're going to stay within their footprint.
Mhm.
They don't want to be a coast to coast league and have to do that to like the Big 12 is doing and the Big 10. And now the ACC as well. I don't think it's a good plan. The SEC gets it. You don't want to do that to your football programs. You don't want, and the other schools. It's not even football that gets hurt the worst. Think about the basketball team that's going to freaking, be out on
Yeah,
the
they're gonna
road
be
for
flying all over the
football.
place.
weeks at a freaking time,
Softball,
Weeks.
Football,
baseball,
yeah, all
soccer.
of those tournament
man.
teams. Yeah,
and they don't have the
That's
amenities
crazy.
that they get on a football team either.
And honestly, the only
I think it's
person that's been truly like actually put out something intelligent was Chip Kelly. And when he talked about the 68 team league, you put all the schools back into a region, allow them to be a part of the NCAA, you allow the football to get off of the NCAA, everyone goes back to regional stuff, and you have a 68 team league away from the NCAA, and then you have like Jason, you were saying, that one subdivision where it's just straight up, you have it semi-pro. That's just basically it's what you're doing. And
Right.
it makes the most sense. Get everything back to regional stuff, because I mean, when you look at these athletes and we talk about, like football, hey, it's 1 or 2 days a week, whatever, and you have maybe, you go on the road for a couple weeks in a row, or you're at home for a couple weeks. It doesn't matter. But these other
It's
sports,
tough on them,
basketball,
man. That
baseball,
jet lag is a real thing, man.
Oh,
It's a real
horrible.
thing.
horrible.
And I think it's I don't see this working out very well.
Nope.
I just don't see it working out very well. I think it's
No,
one of those things.
we've all known that we need a college football commissioner, and for like the FBS to be its own entity for the past few years now, because this is it's for one, it's too big for the NCAA because they're a bunch of idiots and they don't know how to run anything.
Yeah,
and because of these reasons now that you're seeing, when you've got the Big Ten coast to coast, I mean, that's hard on your student athletes. And your family, I mean, not only that,
my dad would say it.
Yeah.
You know, most of the Big Ten schools you could drive to, you know, with the exception of obviously like Penn State and Rutgers, but for the most part, it was easy to get to a game. But I mean, I'm not driving to California. That sounds terrible.
It's tough, man. And that's the thing. Yeah, man. And that's a lot of them.
Think of the money.
Can you imagine if you
Think of the money you're paying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The money's great and the money's fine. But yeah, think about it. How much did they have to get? Like Oregon and Washington had to like kind of hold their feet to the fire a little bit with the Big Ten because they weren't going to give them enough. They were going to give them a partial share. They had to ask for like an additional, 15, 20 million just to kind of cover, or it wasn't even worth it for them to leave the pack.
They're getting 50% revenue share.
Right.
Until 2030.
But they got a bonus for their travel though.
Yeah. Till 2030. I mean, that's I mean, damn. You know, that's not enough. I mean,
the Dabo talk, Fatty. I think it's a no-go for Dabo. Dabo is next out the door, if anything, but out of coaching. And he said it that he's not going to. He doesn't want to change.
Yeah, he doesn't like it.
He would rather leave and quit coaching than to bow down to this. Hey, buddy, if I'm a Clemson fan, I want him gone yesterday.
Yeah, and
there's no way Alabama allows it.
And that's
seeing
why
the repercussions now.
Yep, and that's the reason why he would not be the head coach at Alabama, because he doesn't want to change. He doesn't want to adapt. And I can tell you, if they hire him, we will see guys in the transfer portal so fast. His time is past.
He's not even paying the guys that he's still getting to go to Clemson. They're not even paying them right. He's somehow talking them into I guess it's the religion stuff, but they paid Wesco and they paid what's his name, the linebacker, but it's not working out. I mean, hell, DJ, you just ended up at Florida freaking State.
I know, man. It's gonna be something. Hey, Jason, I gotta jump off, brother.
Man, I appreciate you coming in, JJ. We're gonna jump off here in just a second too. But the ACC is starting to look a bit shaky. It is, but JJ, tell everybody how to find you. And hey, guys, I know we were getting him close to that 1,000 marker.
I know, 140. I need 140. That's it. We're moving. We're getting there. But no, guys, I appreciate it. Again,
you got one for
YouTube.
me.
Thank you.
Put it in the chat too.
Yeah, talking college football with JJ Kitchen. And then on Twitter, JJ_Kitchen40. You can find me at those two places. And again, I can't wait to get you guys on. I know my career has been busy. It's just been, I'm in corporate banking. The stuff's been wild the last 5 months. I've 15-hour work days have been killing me. So finally, it'd be nice to slow down a little bit. But again, I appreciate everybody. Hit the like button, subscribe.
Well, are you making money at least?
Yes, thank God. Yeah, or else I'd have jumped off a building a long time ago.
It doesn't completely help, but it helps a little, right?
Yeah, I'd have been. I was getting my swan dive ready to go at the top of the 18th stairs. I'm just like, I was right at the top. I was ready to go. Guys, enjoy yourselves. Hit the like button, subscribe, and be safe out there.
You actually 134.
I'm glad you're here.
134 subscribers away.
Here we go. Let's do this. Get over there if you're not already subscribed to JJ Show, man. JJ, good to have you on. He's this dude is one of the best in the business. Love JJ, man. He hadn't been on enough lately, so we're glad to have him at all times. I'm glad you guys came in too. When I saw that pop, Coach, right as I was looking at it on the screen, I was like, "You got to be shitting me." And then Coach hit me with a text, and I was like, "No freaking way!" And I was, 20 minutes later,
I didn't think it was real.
It's kind of
didn't
tough to
think-
believe, right?
think it was real at first. I had to like look at I was like, okay, is this one of those where I'm just trying to say it to get followers? And I was like, oh shit, this is actually real.
It could be. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. At first, I was like,
Nope.
man, there's
There
no
he is.
way, right? I mean, just no way. But apparently, something's going on with these layouts. I was trying to share that, but let's see. I was still looking at the trending ones. Tom Herman is trending all of a sudden. Why? Good
Oh
grief.
Lord, that would never happen. Okay, never say never, but that's not
No,
happening.
that would never happen.
Not fair this one time too. Oh
Hey,
yeah.
Jay,
let's
we have to get off, man. We about to start recording, man.
Y'all about to get on there?
Yeah,
You have fun.
Man, when you hear something, make sure you let me know right away.
Yeah.
I will jump on with you or whatever. Brenskie, we appreciate you coming on and being such a big addition to the show the last few days, and you've done a lot lately. We appreciate that.
Oh yeah, man. I gotta support my guy, man.
The Sharpe Shooter Podcast is also very cool. A lot of barber talk. You know, hey, you guys gonna be okay? You know, on there, or is everybody gonna be?
Well, I think it's only me and my other partner Quint. We the only Alabama fan. My guy,
No sharp objects in the room. Okay, no sharp objects.
Yeah, I'm just gonna. Yeah, it should be good, man.
They're gonna get a great coach, bro. It's not like they're not. I mean, it's like I get it. I
hope it's Dan Lanning, man, so we can I feel a little bit better about it.
Yeah,
but
it's 15 million is the Sark buyout, not 20. 15.
I'm gonna shout out this channel real quick, and then I'm gonna get off and go ahead and get ready for that.
Yeah, shout it out, man. Let us know.
Oh yeah, man. I'm gonna also put it in the comment section.
I got it for you. I'll put it in there right now. Just tell everybody how to find you, bro.
Oh, my fault.
And it'll be in the description anyway.
All right. Well, I'm Brenskie Sharpe with the Sharpe Shooters Podcast. I can catch me literally every Wednesday on YouTube at the Sharpe Shooters Podcast. It's in the comment section. Please subscribe to the channel. It's basically barbershop talk. We talk college football, NFL, basketball, and just culture talk. It's just basically barbershop talk. So appreciate everybody for y'all support. Sad day, of course, as an Alabama fan. It's been a great run. I was enjoying this run since probably, I think, a freshman. No, not even a freshman. Going into a sophomore, going into my junior year of high school.
You're giving up your age like that, bro.
Oh yeah, man. I ain't that old, man. And I'm about to say now I'm a 32-year-old man with a child. And to enjoy this run has been special. Happy retirement. GOAT saving. It ain't coach no more, it's GOAT. And we're gonna refer to you as that forever. Appreciate for all the memories, and thank God we beat Auburn on that last one, so it's even more special.
Got him out of there. That's what it was. I was that one in the Georgia win that he was like, man, screw it, I'm out.
That's why I said that whole Michigan thing was cool, but I was like, just to restore order in the SEC, like we're here. So getting Dan Lanning, I'll pray to God that's the option, but like I said, man, y'all subscribe to the channel. Y'all definitely subscribe to Jason's channel too. Get the likes up, and appreciate you, brother, as always.
Hey, no worries. Thanks for coming on and giving us your insight as a fan, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Already.
All right, brother.
See y'all later.
And then there were two.
Nice to meet you.
Just me and Miss Jamie. Hey, I'm glad you've been on with us today too. We've been trying to get you on the show for the past couple of weeks. I hope everything's going good with your pops. So hey, honestly, I think we'll just let you kind of give your final thoughts on what's going on today, and we'll kind of get out of here too. What's your final thoughts?
I mean,
on this?
I'm still pretty shocked, to be honest with you. I'd never. I mean, I knew this day would come, but I'm still like soaking it all in. I do think that they would be stupid not to hire Dan Lanning. I could see Sark or Kiffin too. I think it'll be Lanning. I think we'll probably know within the next week that it will be.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, once again, college football. It's always throwing us for curveballs. Doesn't matter if it's in season, off season, during the season. It's always something going on.
It's pretty wild though, right? It's just one of those like, I wasn't expecting that. I mean, that was the last time I saw it pop up on the screen because I'm in here doing other stuff, and I'll go, nah, that can't be right. And then Coach hit me with that text, and I was like, oh shit, there's 2. I need one more for confirmation here.
It is true.
Yeah. As soon as I looked on ESPN and CBS, I knew it was real. So, hey, good for Coach. I mean, look, Nick Saban is obviously he's done his thing. I'm not a huge fan of Alabama or really Nick Saban, but I give him credit where credit's due. He's been the man. As a fan of a team that's headed into his conference, see you later, Coach. I'm glad you're gone. It doesn't bother me.
I think collectively as a whole, the entirety of the SEC is glad that Saban is gone.
I mean, I think that's fair.
But we'll miss him. We'll still miss him.
Yeah.
I'll miss his press conferences where he just goes on and on about rat poison or some spiel.
Rat poison. They're always bitching at somebody about something that they say to him. I mean, some of that stuff got old at times. When he did that with what was the which female reporter was that from ESPN that he went off on? It was stupid.
Oh, yeah.
It was
that was stupid. I don't remember who it was.
I think she's with NBC now. I'm trying to remember who it was, but I was like, whoa. It's one thing when he yells at a guy, you can get it. I mean, okay. I was like, whoa. Yeah. She was pretty new too at that time. Norman, no.
Yeah.
I gotta get this dog out. So thank you so much, Jamie. Tell us.
You have a dog named Norman. Of course, you have a dog named
Norman. Yeah. He's a big 130 pound.
I gotta let mine in, so I kicked them out. I'm like, no, I can't have the lab and the wiener dog like trying to take over the situation.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, he's tough for me. He's tough for me to battle him off at this point, but it's but I'll try anyway. Yeah, but his name is Norman, and actually the audience named him. So I put it out on Twitter.
That's actually really cute.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. He's a pain in the ass, though. He's a pain in the ass. It's still
most dogs are.
Yeah, especially this one. He weighs too damn much, though, for him to be such a freaking pain. Because he's just too hard to like. You can't control him. He's just too big.
I have my brother's 90-pound lab that I've been dog sitting for 2 months, so I cannot control him. He's as big as I am, so I'm like, well, great. This is fun.
There it is. Right. Yeah, he doesn't weigh as much as me, but he's not far off. He's about 130 pounds now already, and he's not even a year old yet.
But a big dog, man. All right. Well, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we enjoyed having you on. We'll have to get you back on again. Tell everybody how to find you. What's your Twitter handle? I'll pop it in there as well. I just want to make sure I get it right.
It's at JL Pritchard, PRITCHARD 11.
Yep, 11.
And it's Queen Jamie of the Gridiron. You do not have to call me Queen. That's just what's on there.
She is quite the Twitter follower.
It was the nickname I got in Spaces.
Twitter follow. Believe me. If you had your own channel, I can only imagine how entertaining it would be because your tweets are quite fun. Colorful.
Nobody wants that. I think my Twitter's enough.
Yeah, good stuff. No,
I promise I'm entertaining.
You're welcome to come on our show anytime. What's that?
I thought about doing because guys are always telling me to stay in the kitchen. So I thought about doing in the kitchen with Jamie, but like cooking and talking football. So it's a thought. I have thought about it. It's just I've got a lot of life stuff going on right now. I need life to kind of chill for a second for me to revisit that.
There's never a good time to start a channel. It's tough. It's tough when when you do it, and it's
and with my dad being the way things have gone, the consistency is the hard part about it. So if you can't be consistent, it's kind of tough to do it at all. So I understand exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, no doubt, I understand that. Well, thank you anyway for coming on. I appreciate it.
We couldn't get I was texting everybody. I said, Jamie couldn't come on last night. I bet you she'll come on for this one.
I appreciate you thinking of me.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks a lot for coming in. And anytime you'd like to come on, we're always on Tuesdays at 8:30 Eastern. Sorry, 8:30 Eastern. We come on every Tuesday. So welcome anytime. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you very much. All right, you guys have a good night.
All right, see ya. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Jamie Pritchard, the LSU fan and a Nebraska fan. But she was on with Coach I and us whenever we did the SEC schedule breakdown. She's been and she is a fun Twitter follow. So if you guys get out there and check her out on Twitter, lots of fun stuff. Don't fall to the stereotypes. Heck, no, man. No, she's real good. Real good, real good. Enjoyed having her on. Guys, thanks everybody for coming into the show. Let us know what you think. Who's your guy? Who's your guy? I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna make a prediction now. It's not gonna be Dan Lanning. It's gonna be Steve Sarkisian. It's just gonna, and I mean, maybe I'm just hoping because of the fact that it'll trigger the shit out of Austin. It'll be fun. Good times. It'll be fun stuff. But yeah. SEC Connect time. I'll get over there and check that out as well. Thanks a lot, everybody, for coming in. Make sure you hit that like button if you have not already. Go subscribe to everybody's podcast that was on the show. And hey, we'll see you on the next one.